So today we are back with another video. I know it's been a little bit, I just haven't been playing that much lately because I've been burnt out on a lot of stuff. So yeah, but I did slowly get some games in, and today we'll be playing Storm Portal. This is Spicy's list. It's a Japanese pro player. I will link his channel in the description so you can check him out for more stuff. So this is the list he was playing. It was quite early on in the expansion, so this list might be outdated now, but it's what I've been playing with and it's been a pretty interesting experience. So this is it's similar to Forest in that it's more of a tempo based deck that you're supposed to rush your opponent down with. The main idea is to use Portal's strong early game with stuff like Cool Career and forerun and free running to get stuff like analyzing ancient artifact to ruin your opponent's early game while chipping in damage on your own, and then you can use stuff like Imari to completely ruin the mid game by just summoning a bunch of Imari's little buddies, or you can use Lazuli to pick up Radiant Artifact and just send that into your opponent's face as well. And then you can use UD as well to evolve stuff that magically stay on board to hit face even more. And then in the mid game, or the mid to late game, I guess, you can use your other Storm payoffs like Mew, you can use Camisilla to deal damage while getting board tempo. You can use, then you have your late game finishers of Scarlet, who I'm using the skin for now, but it's supposed to be Scarlet. And also with Asher and Lydia, our new legendary, you can use the enhanced line to storm damage. And then the card that I thought was very interesting when I first saw this list was Slough. Slough surprisingly does a lot of work in this deck. You can have it just sit there on board and get its main effects active, and then after that you do something like use UD to evolve it and then hit face with it, and then you can get the crest for even more value, which you get to see, I guess, Slough's value in the games I have for you today. So yeah, this is the list we're playing for today. I don't think it's like a very powerful list or anything, but if you are a big fan of Portal, I think this will get you somewhere, and you can probably find a more optimized list now that we are a bit more into the expansion. So yeah, this is the list we'll be playing for today. Let's look at some games. So the first game I have for you is against Dragon. We are going second. For the Mulligan, I just keep early game stuff. In this case, I'm looking at a curve of UD into Lazuli into evolving Radiant to face because Dragon has a relatively slow early game, so I want to take advantage of that to chip as much damage as I can to make the late game more manageable. Thankfully, Dragon doesn't have too much healing right now. This deck can be a bit weak against decks with a lot of healing, so there's that to watch out for. So I want to make it hard for my opponent to ramp, so I go ahead and coin UD here. My opponent will go ahead and trade with the Promoter, which is fine. We are going to make it as high as possible to ramp. So we use this aggressive Sincerity of the deal drop here to get a 3-3 on board to threaten my opponent's face with. Opponent ends up ramping here anyway, so I guess they're not scared enough of the 3-3, which is fine. We are going to go ahead and drop Lazuli as well. This board is very sturdy against Crest Battle, so that's good for us. My opponent will just go ahead and ramp some more like they don't care, which is, I guess, good for them. So we want to build a board that's resistant against Galamu right now because they haven't played Galamu yet, so we want to make it hard for them to get Galamu in play. So I go ahead and trade Mew. Galamu has 7 attack anyway, so whether I keep her at 7 defense or 2, it doesn't matter too much. So that's what I go for here. Technically, if I want to play on Dragonmute Promoter, I guess trading the Ancient Artifact would have been better, but I think it's better to make it hard for them to drop Galamu here than to deny the Promoter. We go ahead and chip face here. There is the Galamu as we expected. Also, there is an argument here for keeping Mew because we don't have that much storm damage in hand right now. So yeah, honestly, I'm not really sure if that was the correct play, but it was the one I went with. When we play Brazen Broadcaster here, it gets our Emerald count up as well as draw into our deck so we can find more damage. And then we just keep trying to do as much face damage as possible. There's Sagatsumatsu for my opponent. And they will, I believe, yeah, they do toss the Boiler Lie here, so they will be able to full clear this board. But we do manage to prevent them from going face while draining their evil points, which is relatively good. Unfortunately, we don't quite have lethal here, so we go ahead and use this play to chip as much damage as we can to keep them in lethal range, and then we make sure to play Brazen Broadcaster here to draw into our deck to find damage. Right now we drew Camisilla, which means we should have lethal next turn. If they don't heal right now, they don't have enough play points to drop the urns, so the only healing they have here is Giln Elise, which I guess if they have it is a bit annoying, but it's probably fine. Anything that forces them to spend evil points not on urns is relatively good for us, I think. My opponent ends up not having much to do here, so they just go ahead and do this soft weak play, which means they die. I thought they Dryzen, so they were super dead anyway, but yeah, so we're just gonna use Dryzen to finish them. So that's it for this game. Our next game is against Forest here, and we are going first. Mulligan is saying as usual, just keep early game stuff. Keep Bracing Broadcaster as well, just to have some early game plays. I'm not actually sure keeping free running is correct with this deck, but I guess while I was playing I decided to do that. Opponent is probably playing tempo, so they want to maintain tempo of our own here. We go ahead and drop UD. I was saving Lyria in case we need the enhanced 8 later on. If my opponent coins a Miroku, which means that most likely they won't have a turn to a 2-point play, because if they had it they probably would have played it instead of wasting Miroku here. We go ahead and play Slouch here, and expected, I guess, it didn't really have a good play here. Slouch gets the buff here, which isn't super useful since we didn't have followers, but we can buff Slouch, so that's fine. We go ahead and pressure my opponent on board with Sincerity here. Sincerity isn't too useful in this matchup, especially since we don't have Imari in hand in the first place. If we had Imari in hand, we would actually probably consider keeping the Sincerity for something, but in this case it's not that useful. Opponent drops the Cruel here, which will clear a bunch of my followers, which is fine. Slouch rolls the discount here, which allows us to drop Mirrored Designs for a lot of tempo. I kind of forgot here that Ludicrous Ordnance deals 3 damage when you end turn, so I probably could just evolve Slouch and hit face. Usually you wait until you get all the effects from Slouch before you evolve him, but since the only remaining effect is healing, which I don't really need right now, I probably should just evolve face and with the Slouch here, and just let Ludicrous Ordnance clear the Cruel for me. My opponent has Skipper, the Spirited Skipper, which allow them to clear a bunch of my followers. You will evolve the Skipper as well. Unfortunately for them though, they are unable to clear my followers properly, so I keep my Slouch and my what's this called? Substandard Puppet here. So there's a great opportunity for UD to be used. We can draw into our deck here. Since we have time, we drop Slouch to hopefully get value out of his effect again. And then we will use UD to evolve Slouch here. Go and just hit them in the face and give them Slouch Crest, which will hopefully annoy my opponent. Get a -2/-2 here, which isn't useful because my opponent has no followers, but you know, I guess that's the game you play with Slouch. I'm gonna evolve that Prudent Tanuki here just to clear my board and draw into their deck with, I guess. Maybe we roll the buff with Slouch, which is actually very strong right now, as you can see. And we take this opportunity to go try to roll them on board here with Camisilla. Forest has quite a lot of trouble dealing with white boards if they don't have a Skipper in hand, so that's quite good for us. We can probably just force them to lose off this board alone. As you can see, my opponent didn't have Skipper, so they end up not being able to clear this board, so yeah, you win the tempo war, I guess. Tempo deck versus tempo deck, you just try to maintain tempo over your opponent and eventually you choke them out and win, I guess. So that's it for this game. Let's move on to the next one. And the last game I have for you is again against Sword, and we are going first. Mulligan is the same as usual, we just look for early game. Right now there's a lot of aggressive decks on the ladder right now to combat Dragon because people are sick of losing to Dragon presumably. So am I, so that's why I'm playing a Storm deck as well. There's the Sharp Ear Operative here. It's fine. I'm going to play Imari. I don't remember why I played Imari here. I feel like going Brazen Broadcaster would have probably been fine, but who knows. Anyway, we'll go ahead and trade into the Operative here so that the Knight doesn't trade into the Imari. For now, I'll drop the High Strung Liaison here, which is fine, I guess. UD here, we're gonna go ahead and use her to draw into our deck more. There is an argument for saving her for the evil turn, I guess, but it doesn't end up mattering because I pick out another UD. Ignore the knight here, they probably will trade with it for me anyway, so we just go ahead and hit face. Opponent coins out the bunny and baron here, and they will go ahead and evolve to pick up the Desperado bullet, which is fine. So there is a lot of options here, but the play I decided to go here is UD plus Lyria, and the reason why I do this is because I want to maintain followers on board because I don't want to let them swing the tempo in my favor too easily. And by going Lyria here, we can actually keep one of our followers on board here, so that's quite nice. They go ahead and trade like this, and we just pass. Oh, plus we want to keep Imari in case we have to deal with Cesar later on, which is a high likelihood. We have come trouble dealing with Cesar, and Imari are easily our best option, so we save Imari for that. Now we go ahead and drop Myriad Designs here, evolve the Ludicrous Ordnance here to sort of annoy my opponent, clear their board, set out relatively strong followers on board for them to have the answer. And that's the Cesar as we expected. Okay, we'll go ahead and super evolve as well to clear some of my followers. We toss Sloughs here because I don't expect myself to have enough time or evil points for Sloughs at this point in the match, so I just toss it. Super evolving Imari guarantees free running and sincerity as long as you still have copies in the deck, so keep that in mind. We can go ahead and use all of these spells to summon a bunch of little buddies to deal with my opponent's board. Use a bunch of ancient artifacts as well. So we clear my opponent's board while setting out one of our own. This makes it a bit hard to drop Cesar for my opponent since we have a pretty solid board. Cesar only really clears 2 bodies, which is one of the main weaknesses. Last time, we used the Grimnir to make up for Cesar's weakness of only being able to clear 2 followers at most with a super evil, but now we don't even have that, so yeah, it's a bit sad for Sword, I guess. And then goes ahead and use Gildara plus Metra here, which will fully clear my board, which is mildly annoying, but it's probably fine. I play a bit more conservative here and just try to set up just conserve resources, I guess, in case they want to do something next turn. I'm gonna go for Mars here. Which will be able to fully clear my board while hitting me in the face. Thankfully, though, Sword doesn't have very much burst damage at all, so we're not really worried even though we are quite low. We'll go ahead and swing back at them here. Drop the Imari here just for an extra body on board to annoy my opponent with. Pick out Sincerity, which can be useful with Dryzer next turn. And then we go ahead and super evolve our Mew here. And we can drop the Radiant as well. Radiant plus Mew is a pretty solid combo. It helps you clear blood while hitting face. But then within Dryzen range next turn. Opponent drops the Gildara plus Bunny Baron combo, which is a very strong combo that does a lot of damage. But thankfully, since we maintain the tempo advantage in the early game, we are not low enough to lose to this combo. So we do take a bunch of damage here, go very low, but unfortunately for them, we can hit them back with lethal next turn. So go ahead and drop Dryzen here, and that's it for this game. So those are all the games I have for you today. Hopefully gave you some idea of how this deck works. If you're a fan of Portal, I guess you can play this. Unfortunately, it's a stupidly expensive deck. You can see there's a lot of legendaries in this deck, so you can keep that in mind as well, I guess. Overall, I mean, it's similar to Temple Forest. I think Forest is a bit stronger in my opinion, but I'm not 100% sure on that right now. But this deck, for some reason, just feels like a clean deck. I don't know what it is about it, but it just feels like a clean deck to me. So I do have that sort of preference for it. But otherwise, I think Forest, personally, in my opinion, is a bit stronger. So I would go with Forest if you just want to play a Tempo deck. But if you want to play for a Portal, I guess working along these lines of an aggressive Storm deck might be the best bet for Portal right now. I don't really know. I haven't been keeping up with the meta too much, honestly. So yeah, that's it for today. See you next time. Bye bye.